What's up everybody, Demon back. Welcome to a brand new video, and before we start, I want to do an announcement here. Today is going to be the giveaway for Kong Skull Island on Blu-ray. If you want to win Kong Skull Island on Blu-ray, all you have to do is subscribe, comment down below, and start your comment with the words Kong Skull Island : and then leave a comment related to the video topic. That's all you gotta do. It's pretty simple. So just make sure you follow those conditions, leave your comment, and you have entered into the chance to get a copy of Kong Skull Island. This giveaway will wrap up in 1 week from the release of this video. This is part 4 of 4 of my 20,000 subscribers giveaway special. At the end of this 1 week period, I will find my favorite comments from all 4 videos, being the Pacific Rim Trailer 1 breakdown, Pacific Rim International trailer breakdown, Mechagodzilla SH Monster Arts unboxing, and this video. And those people who have the best comments on each video will be entered into a random generator online, which will pick someone at random to win. The winner will then get a copy of whatever movie they entered into the contest for. If you've entered into multiple contests, you can only win one, and that ultimately comes down to whichever one you win first. So the order selection will go Shin Godzilla Digital Code, Kong Skull Island Digital Code, Shin Godzilla Blu-ray, Kong Skull Island Blu-ray. Thanks guys. I'll let you get to the video. What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing a Godzilla Monster Planet video. Well, this is going to be a tie-in Godzilla Monster Planet, the Cloverfield Paradox, the Cloverfield movie. Yes, this is part 2 for Godzilla Earth versus Cloverfield. Now, I am well aware that it's not called Cloverfield. The monster itself is called Clover, but not a lot of people are aware of that, so I put the word Cloverfield in the title, alright? Okay, good. Now that that's cleared up, let's get into the real discussion of the video. That discussion is, how long will it take Godzilla Earth to grow as tall as the full-grown Clover? Alright, we're going to start out with Clover, because he's the one we know least about. Seeing as though we cannot safely estimate what height Clover is at based off the cloud cover shown in the movie, I figure I'll cover my bases in this video. Starting out, for all we know, the monster is only around 300 feet tall and is hardly grown from the first movie. This could just be a layer of fog or smoke, and the people in the capsule are just falling to their deaths at this moment. Or maybe they're going for a splashdown in the ocean or something. We don't really know the details. This is very unlikely, however. I think they're supposed to survive. I think that's the implication, but you never know. We do see something very similar to this happening in the new Pacific Rim Uprising trailer, so you never know. We see a giant monster bursting out of the clouds there too, and he's not, 12,000 feet or something insane. The people in the capsule could be falling into some sort of landing zone that was designated for them. This takes place in a very advanced future from our world, and it's one with unlimited energy and interdimensional travel, so it takes place in some version of the future set in the late 2040s or the mid to late 2040s, so we don't totally know their technology, so you can't base our understanding of current science off of what happens in this movie. You can't say, oh, the parachute should have deployed. You really can't do that, because we don't know. These people have cracked interdimensional travel, and they have cracked unlimited energy. We are so far away from that in real life that it's almost impossible to say that this is supposed to be our Earth, but in the future. This means that they could be very low to the ground and have some sort of super advanced landing strategies involving multiple rockets and, I don't know, something to break wind other than a parachute. Maybe they have some sort of glider that deploys. We really have no idea. But we do know that they were supposed to land in the ocean. However, some people have pointed out that these clouds in the background look a lot like mountain ranges and not really clouds. They have a different structure. They also have a different color, so they could be mountains. And if these are coastal mountains, which do exist on Earth, primarily in Canada, but there are also some in America, these coastal mountains sit anywhere between 8 to 13,000 feet, meaning this could be the height of the monster. Maybe they're landing in the ocean, but the monster's standing outside just in the coast as well, and you can see the mountains in the background. I don't really think that's too likely of a possibility. More than likely, the pod is landing somewhere we're not not supposed to know, and the characters probably don't even know where they're landing. And this is happening for a few reasons. Number one, the Cloverfield space station was not on course when it teleports back into Earth 1's universe for the second time at the end of the movie, so all the estimations and all the data was probably thrown off when they went in for re-entry, and all their equipment had been very badly damaged when universe hopping, so this could explain why they're going towards what I believe to be land. And there's also there's no way the monster is big enough to stand in the deep ocean and still have his head above the clouds. Honestly, if that's what they're going for in this movie, it's just silly, and it really doesn't affect the outcome of the fight either way. It's just silly. I personally don't like that idea, so we're not going to really talk about the possibility of the monster being like 80,000 feet. That's just ridiculous. As for the assumption that the crew is headed for land or at least near the coast, we can judge based off the cloud cover to estimate how tall Clover is. Getting into what clouds are potentially seen in this clip and which clouds are definitely not. These clouds are definitely not altocumulus or altostratus clouds. They're not cirrus clouds or cirrocumulus clouds. They're certainly not Kevin Helmholtz wave clouds or contrails, and I don't believe that they are cirrostratus clouds either. They do, however, have the potential to be cumulus clouds, which sit anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 feet. They're most likely not, however, these are too puffy. They could be cumulus nimbus clouds, which sit at 2,000 to 45,000 feet. I really don't think they're these either. These are just too puffy as well. They don't really blanket the same way that the clouds seen at the end of the Cloverfield paradox do. These ones are much more puffier than the ones we see at the end of Cloverfield paradox. They could be stratus clouds, which sit at anywhere between 0 feet to 6,500 feet, which places it right where I had it in the first video. This is what I believe to be the most likely scenario for the clouds match, and the clouds that you see in this picture match the clouds seen from Cloverfield perfectly. They could be stratocumulus clouds, which sit at 2,000 to 6,500 feet, and they could be nimbostratus clouds, which sit anywhere between 2,000 to 18,000 feet. In my opinion, the monster is around 6,500 feet, but you already knew that. He has the potential to be just north of 45,000 feet tall. However, I feel that this is way too much of a leap of faith, resulting in the monster being smaller than that. Honestly, how's the monster going to grow from being like 100 feet to 45,000? That makes no sense. But whatever, we'll still keep that data just because why not? After averaging the max heights of each cloud level that is most likely appearing in the Cloverfield paradox, I have found that the Clover monster is more than likely an average of 15,800 feet, which is absolutely huge. That's way bigger than he needs to be. I personally still believe that he's 6,500 feet. But before we get into any of the data analysis, let's jump into Godzilla Earth. When Godzilla Monster Planet starts out, Godzilla is 50 meters or 164.042 feet tall. When we see Godzilla 20,000 years in the future, the charts measure him as 313 meters tall when he's bent over, meaning he's at least 1,026.9 feet tall. If he stands up all the way, I would be willing to guess that he is somewhere around 400 meters or 1,312.34 feet. But I'll just stick with 1,026.9 feet for the sake of the fact that this is actually confirmed by the movie. We're still going to talk about the other estimation, however, it won't be what the main basis for this video is off of. Now, if Godzilla grew from 50 to 313 meters in 20,000 years, that means that he grew 862.858 feet. On average, he will grow 0.0431429 feet every year. This is really not a lot, but it still gives us a good estimation on his growth. It was stated in the promotional material for Godzilla Planet of the Monsters that Godzilla inherits the best traits of all life, and as a result will never stop growing, much like some plants. It was stated in the movie that Godzilla is the peak of evolution and is a combination of all life to the fullest. This is a really dumb decision on the creator's part of Godzilla Monster Planet in my books, because that would mean that at some point Godzilla will literally outgrow the Earth, which just doesn't make sense. So for the sake of not being very stupid, which I consider Godzilla outgrowing Earth to be stupid, I will put a limit on both monsters, saying that neither monster can grow to be more than 50,000 feet, because if they do, that's just dumb. Now let's get into the comparison. Clover does have a confirmed growth limit, as it was stated the Clover seen at the end of the Cloverfield paradox was full grown, and was also somehow the monster from the first movie, but J.J. Abrams clearly doesn't keep good track of his Omniverse, because he definitely confirmed that the monster dies after the events of Cloverfield 1 back in 2008. So I'm just gonna say we put the growth limit for the Cloverfield monster anywhere between 300 feet as his max to 45,000 feet as his max. Using these benchmarks, as well as benchmarks at 6,500 feet for my estimation of how tall the monster at the end of the movie is, as well as 15,800 feet for the average height of the clouds that could have been present in the ending scene, it's time to answer the question, how long will it take Godzilla Earth to outgrow the full-grown Clover? Using the equation seen here, which is 0.0431429x plus 164.042, where x is representative of how many years pass on Earth, and 164.042 is used as the starting height for Godzilla, we can calculate how long it will take Godzilla to grow to catch up to the full-grown Clover. Knowing that Godzilla Earth is immortal and can only be killed in one super specific way, according to the official canon at the time of this video's release, we know that it is not an issue for him to grow to catch up to Clover over time. Godzilla can live forever. If we test this equation, we can revisit the original problem to find out exactly how tall Godzilla will be after 20,000 years. As it turns out, Godzilla will hit the height of 1,026.9 feet tall, meaning that this equation is legit. That's going off the data where Godzilla only grows 0.0431429 feet every year. So, with all that in mind, Godzilla will hit the 300-foot landmark after 3,151.34 years. That is quite a long time, as it would turn out. I don't know why it takes him so long to grow to be 300 feet. That's honestly only twice as tall as he was in the movie, but whatever. I guess he's gonna take 3,000 years to get there. He will hit the 6,500 foot landmark after 145,859.81 years. He'll hit the 15,800 foot landmark after 362,422.5 years. After 1,039,243 years, Godzilla will grow to be 45,000 feet, which is where I put the tallest possible version of the Clover monster at. So Godzilla only has to wait 1,000,000 years to finally catch up to him, which is a long time. And after 1,155,137 years, Godzilla will grow to be a maximum of 50,000 feet tall, or 15,240 meters. That's insanely tall. Way bigger than it ever needed to be. If we use Godzilla's other growth formula, we can calculate his height with the 400 meters as his final benchmark after 20,000 years. Godzilla will hit 300 feet after 2,368 years. He'll reach 6,500 feet, 110,353 years. Godzilla will make it to be 15,800 feet after 272,332.7 years. Jesus, that is a big number. These are big numbers we're dealing with, folks. After 780,911.5 years, Godzilla will grow to be 45,000 feet tall. And after 867,996.5 years, Godzilla will reach 50,000 feet tall. This is 287,104.05 years faster than the previous growth model that we used. A Godzilla of this size would be indestructible, invincible, invulnerable, and immortal. Considering Godzilla Earth was designed to be killed in only one super specific way, nothing could stop a 50,000 foot tall Godzilla Earth. The debate between Godzilla Earth vs. Clover has been raging on this channel for a few weeks now, and I want to bring up a few points to close that debate here. First of all, I just want to make it clear, everything said in this video, as well as my previous video about Godzilla Earth vs. Cloverfield, is purely speculation, so there's no need to feel like this is a personal attack and get all butthurt about it. I don't care that the Cloverfield paradox shows no new powers for the full-grown Clover, and this is why. J.J. Abrams is someone who just doesn't care about his Omniverse anymore. He shows off so little of the monster in the first film and revealed it's basically just a big animal with no superpowers in the special features and press covering Cloverfield's release in 2008. He then confirmed that the monster dies as a result of the bombings that happen after the movie's end, Now in 2018, all of a sudden he's saying the monster from the Cloverfield paradox is the same creature from the first movie but full grown. It's these kind of continuity errors that just make me give up on him showing any real showcase of the monster's powers. Also, with the rumors of the Cloverfield paradox not being a Cloverfield movie until very far into the production, I really don't think we can judge that monster at the end of this movie as like this ultimate being with all these powers. I think it's just thrown in there. They'd be like, oh my god, we need something to put in here. Just put it in, just put it in. Look, see how it ties back to the first one? That's crazy, right? And they never considered how that messes up the timeline until J.J. Abrams was like, oh, I don't really care. Let's just say it's the same thing. Also, the Cloverfield movies are not about big monsters. They're just sci-fi horror movies set in an omniverse that sort of links itself together. So we will most likely never learn the full extent of the monster's powers, so we might as well just give up on trying to hope for some brand new news to come out and reveal that the Cloverfield monster can, you know, teleport other things to different dimensions and blow stuff up with his mind. And it is the movie's responsibility to demonstrate what there is to know about its monster. If we're going to argue that Cloverfield has some sort of interdimensional powers, which is something that a lot of people have argued on the previous video, or that Clover has powers we just haven't seen yet, I'm going to argue that Godzilla Earth has powers to warp space-time and can create matter out of his mind and can grow to be 20 million feet tall and 3 seconds flat if he wills it. People, we have to stick to the continuity and what's shown in the movies, so stop making things up. It's the movie's responsibility to show us what the monster can do. If the movie doesn't show us the monster can do anything, that means it probably can't. And I know Clover only gets a brief cameo at the end of the Cloverfield paradox, so what? He got a full movie to himself back in 2008 and he did nothing the whole movie. Finally, if more information about the monster at the end of the Cloverfield paradox is revealed, we can always just reopen this discussion and debate and talk about it for fun in another video, just like we're doing this time. And that's the other thing, these videos are made for fun, so stop thinking that they're the most serious things in the world. It's just, honestly, it's kind of sad, and it's also fairly funny how upset people get over this debate. It's just for fun, get over it. It's the whole Superman vs. Goku thing all over again. Just have fun with it. Now, with this new information and a bit more I'd like to share about Godzilla Earth, let's give a few more reasons as to why Godzilla Earth could beat the Cloverfield monster. This will also give me a moment to address some of the complaints from my previous video. Starting out, number 1, Clover has a growth limit. He's been stated to be full grown at the end of the Cloverfield paradox. Godzilla, on the other hand, does not, meaning that Godzilla will eventually outgrow Clover. Even if we're willing to say Clover is 20 million feet tall, Godzilla Earth is stupidly gonna outgrow him at some point. Unless they hopefully change that in the sequels, and they're like, nope, he has a limit, which is honestly what I'm hoping for. Now, forgetting about the whole Godzilla Earth's growing for a minute, let's say we have the original scenario posed in the first video. The 313-meter Godzilla Earth versus Clover, who is 6,500 feet tall. Alright, number 2, I'm not factoring any of the parasite monsters of either species into the fight, so stop mentioning them. No Cloverfield parasites and no Cerbum. Number 3, I am well aware of the fact that at the end of the Cloverfield paradox, there is hints to the fact that there's multiple Clovers on Earth. But this is a fight between Godzilla Earth and the full-grown Clover, not Godzilla Earth and the Clover species. Also, who cares if there's more than one Clover? We also know for a fact, because we've seen them, that there's more than one Godzilla alive on Earth too. So if we're willing to say that there's more than one Clover, I'm willing to say that there's multiple full-grown Godzilla Earths running around the planet who are ready to kill the Clovers at will. Number 4. Godzilla's atomic breath would totally be enough to break Clover's skin. Clover was hurt by tanks, as seen in Cloverfield, and injured by stealth bombers. Don't give me that whole he's a baby crap. He clearly got hurt by it, the same way that Godzilla 2014 got hurt by tanks. He wasn't startled because he slept for a long time, he was injured because they shot him right in the gills. If Clover can be hurt by these things, he can surely be injured by Godzilla's atomic breath, which is strong enough to cut down the bedrock of the Himalaya mountain range. Godzilla destroyed the Himalayas in the Monster Planet universe. That's a really incredible feat. As stated in the canon of Godzilla Monster Planet, this is a direct quote from some website linked down below. This beam is capable of annihilating single cities and mountains, penetrating the Rocky Mountains, melting parts of the Himalayan range, which is when he destroyed the Himalayas, and destroying continental plates. Which, this is me breaking off for a second, he destroyed continental plates, guys. He can clearly cut through a big monster's foot. Alright, back to the quote. The estimated range of this beam is approximately 30 kilometers, or 18.6411 miles. During the charging process of this attack, Godzilla also produces a strong electromagnetic pulse and a powerful shockwave, making any efforts of mankind to hide or withstand his powers meaningless. And I know they talk about mankind there, but they're talking about that directly in defense. They're saying that mankind has no defense against the atomic breath, and neither does Clover. Clover, also as stated by J.J. Abrams in 2008, dies as a result of a bombing run the US government does on him, whereas Godzilla Earth has survived 2,000 nuclear bombs being detonated on him all at once. Not to mention he has fought futuristic technology of humans and aliens that far surpasses the technology seen in the Cloverfield movies. Although, can we really say that the Clover's death is canonical anymore because J.J. Abrams totally went back and retconned that? I really don't know. Probably not. So either way, he got injured by tanks and Godzilla withstood future weapons and 2,000 nukes at once. Godzilla's clearly got that advantage. Plus, if Godzilla Earth was to puncture Clover's skin, the monster would quickly bleed to death in a matter of minutes due to its size and the amount of blood that it would take to, pump through its body to keep it alive. Godzilla, on the other hand, does not bleed as seen in Godzilla Monster Planet. Godzilla Earth can clone himself, meaning that even if somehow, in some way, Clover kills him, he could just make another Godzilla Earth and there'd just be another one to take his place. And for everyone saying, Clover would just step on Godzilla and the fight is over, let me say that this is the equivalent of you walking outside and stomping on a really sharp stone or a knife. You are much larger than 6 times bigger than that knife or stone, but it still wins the fight. You're gonna stomp that thing, it's still gonna deal the damage that's gonna break your foot, that's gonna cut you apart. You could die from that. So would Clover. And for anyone who thinks that Godzilla being small automatically means he's gonna lose this fight, if being small means you're gonna lose automatically, let me ask you how there's the potential for a spider, or wasp for that matter, that is well less than 1/6 the size of a human being, still being able to kill that human being. It happens all the time. Small doesn't automatically mean they're gonna lose. And no, Clover cannot just swat Godzilla off the face of the planet. Godzilla Earth is a fatty. He weighs way more than it would take for him to just be swatted off the face of the planet. His weight combined with Earth's gravity would just pull him back down to the surface anyways. Plus, it's also like a giraffe. They're considerably larger than human beings and sort of similar to the Clover monster in the fact that they're just big bodies on small stilts, as one of my subscribers put it. But they still cannot bat a child across the entire planet. And an elephant can't bat a baby across the United States, so the Clover can't bat Godzilla out of the atmosphere. Now, if Clover were to, say, eat Godzilla, then he would just be torn apart and ripped apart from the inside. Godzilla would use his atomic breath to tear apart the Clover's organs and rip him in half from the inside out, which would be a much cooler way to end that fight. Once again, I'd like to bring up Godzilla's instantaneous tissue regeneration that will rebuild his body the second it takes damage. So even if Clover stomping on Godzilla deforms Godzilla, he'll just suddenly pop back up into his usual shape in a few seconds. Godzilla has no bones to break and blood to spill in this continuity. His body is made of metallic material and materials that have never been seen to humans before. So good luck trying to pull that hole. He'll bleed to death, or Clover will stomp him and he'll be dead. Godzilla's tail beam has also been estimated to reach 600 meters, meaning he can stand quite far away from Clover and still be able to cut off his feet in the scenarios posed in the last video. Remember, it's made of the same material as his atomic breath, which literally cut the Himalayas in half. At the end of the day, it comes down to this: Godzilla Earth is an overpowered god, and Clover doesn't stand a chance. Thanks, guys. This is the last time we'll be talking about this topic on the channel. I really kind of am bored of it, but at the same time, I really wanted to do this because I wanted to test out the growth formula and see what it came out with, so I thought it would be a fun video to make regardless. I hope you guys all had as much fun listening as I had making it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. D-Man, out.